She bit the last 3 passengers. He didn't flinch, just held out his hand. A few passengers had been allowed to enter the shuttle earlier, but now the cabin was almost empty. The metal walls reflected the dim emergency lights, casting long shadows. No one wanted to move. No one wanted to be close to the creature that had already bitten 3 people. Sina sat in the corner, her hands shaking. Her green eyes were wide and wild, darting around the room. She was small for her species, but her movements were quick and sharp. Every muscle in her body looked tense. Her long fingers curled into claws, and her teeth, sharp and uneven, showed whenever she breathed fast. She looked dangerous, and everyone on the station knew it. The first 3 passengers had tried to approach her with caution. They had followed the rules, tried to calm her, tried to use words she might understand. It had ended badly. She had bitten them. Their screams echoed in the shuttle, haunting those who watched from outside through the security glass. Security officers had to restrain the victims and rush them to the medical bay. Their wounds were deep, and everyone whispered that her bites could carry diseases no human had ever seen. Now, only a few people remained near the shuttle. Everyone was frozen in fear. Nobody wanted to be the next. The officers outside the glass held their weapons ready, their fingers on triggers, but even they hesitated. Sina's eyes flicked to every movement. She hissed softly, low and threatening, a sound that sent chills down everyone's spine. Through the tense silence, one man stepped forward. He walked slowly, without any sudden movements. Luke Carter was his name. He was not a soldier, not a fighter, not a trained security officer. He was a medic, a healer, someone used to caring for the sick and hurt. Yet as he moved, the room seemed to hold its breath. Luke did not carry a weapon. He did not wear heavy armor. All he had was a small medical bag, a few tools, and a calm look on his face. His brown eyes were steady. He did not flinch. He did not hesitate. Sina's gaze immediately landed on him. She crouched slightly, ready to spring. Her teeth glinted in the dim light. Luke stopped a few steps away. He raised one hand slowly, carefully, as if to show he meant no harm. "I am not here to hurt you," he said quietly. His voice was soft, almost like a whisper, but it carried through the tense air of the shuttle. "I only want to help. Can you trust me?" The alien hissed again, a low, rattling sound. She lunged slightly toward him, and the officers outside tensed. They whispered among themselves, questioning why he would move so close. He could be bitten next. No human could survive one of her bites without serious injury, or worse. Luke did not step back. He held his hand out open, showing nothing but patience. Sina paused, her instincts screaming. She could feel danger. Every nerve in her body told her this human was strange, different. Most creatures, when threatened, would either attack or flee. She had expected him to pull a weapon, scream, or run, but he did none of these things. For a long moment, neither moved. The station seemed to fade away. The only sounds were Sina's breathing, ragged and fast, and the soft hum of the shuttle's engines. Luke's hand stayed steady. He did not flinch when she growled softly. He did not pull back when she shifted her weight forward, preparing to strike. Somewhere deep in her mind, Sina felt something strange. The usual fear, the usual panic she felt toward humans did not appear. Instead, she felt confusion. This human was calm. He did not look weak. He did not look afraid, and that made her pause. Outside the shuttle, security officers whispered to each other. One of them, a young man named Ryan, shook his head. "What is he doing? That thing will bite him. He's crazy." But Luke did not hear them. He focused only on Sina. He knew that fear often made creatures act violently. If he moved with panic, shouted, or showed weakness, she would attack him like the others. Instead, he tried to show her something she had never seen in humans before: patience and control. Sina's eyes narrowed. She shifted again, closer to him, her sharp teeth bared, her small body tensed like a spring ready to release. She hissed louder this time, a warning sound meant to scare him away. But Luke did not flinch. He breathed slowly and deeply. He kept his hands steady, his gaze fixed on her eyes. "You don't have to fight me," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." For the first time, Sina hesitated. Her claws flexed, but she did not strike. Something in his calm, quiet voice told her he was different. He was not like the others. Most humans screamed, waved weapons, or ran. He did none of these things. A long moment passed. The officers outside held their breath. Nobody moved. The tension in the shuttle was almost unbearable. Sina shifted her weight again, closer, but did not bite. Her green eyes studied Luke, searching, trying to understand. Luke slowly crouched, keeping his hand out. "I know you are scared," he said gently. "I know you are hurt, but I am not your enemy." Sina's breathing slowed slightly, though her body remained tense. Her ears twitched, listening to his voice. There was something in the tone, something calm, steady, and unafraid that confused her. The shuttle's cameras captured every second. Every movement, every hiss, every blink. People in the station watched the live feed, unable to believe what they were seeing. A human was standing calmly in front of a creature that had already bitten 3 others. He did not scream. He did not run. He did not pull a weapon. And she did not bite him. Luke spoke again, softly, almost a whisper. "It's okay, you don't have to hurt anyone else, you can trust me." For the first time, Sina's body relaxed slightly. Her claws loosened. Her sharp teeth no longer gleamed threateningly. She shifted back, a little uncertainty in her eyes. She sniffed the air around him, trying to sense danger. Luke smiled faintly. He did not rush her. He did not try to grab her or force her. He waited. Patience was his tool. Calm was his weapon. Fear and violence had no place here. Finally, Sina took a cautious step closer, then paused. She stared at his hand, open and steady. Something deep in her instincts urged her to test him, to see if he was truly different from the others. She opened her mouth slowly, showing her teeth. Luke remained still. He held his hand out even more clearly, palm up. "It's okay," he said again. "I'm not afraid." The shuttle seemed to grow quieter. The hum of the engines faded into the background. Only Luke's calm presence and Sina's sharp gaze filled the room. Then, with a sudden motion, she lunged slightly, not in attack but in testing. She sank her teeth gently into his hand. A hiss escaped from her, but Luke did not pull back. His face did not show pain, only calm. The officers outside gasped. Nobody expected him to stay. Nobody expected him to allow the bite. And yet he did not scream. He did not flinch. He only kept his hands steady, letting the alien test him. Sina pulled back, confused. Her instincts told her he should have screamed, struggled, or run. But he did none of those things. Instead, he smiled faintly, still calm, still unafraid. Something shifted in her mind, something she could not name. For the first time since being captured, she felt a flicker of trust, or at least curiosity. She did not attack again. She simply stared at him, trying to understand this strange human who did not react like any other creature she had known. Luke spoke softly, almost like a lullaby. "See, it's okay, you don't have to be afraid." Sina's green eyes softened slightly. The tension in her body eased just a little. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her breathing slowed. She did not move closer, but she did not retreat. The shuttle's cabin felt different now. The fear that had filled it moments before seemed to dissipate slightly. The passengers and crew who had watched from outside the glass whispered in disbelief. A human had faced the alien without fear, without weapons, without anger. And the alien had paused, confused, uncertain, and quiet. Luke smiled faintly again. He did not move his hand. He only let it remain open, steady, calm. He had no idea what would happen next. Sina might bite him again. She might run. She might panic. But for now, he had done something remarkable. He had stopped the fear in her mind, if only for a moment. And in that moment, the crowded station outside the shuttle began to understand something new about humans. They were not always the strongest. They were not always the fastest. They were not always the fiercest. But they were strange, unpredictable, and patient in ways no other species could match. Sina's teeth still glinted slightly as she stared at him. She did not speak, but her body language said something she could not put into words. The wild, dangerous creature that had bitten 3 people before was no longer sure what to do. Luke remained calm. He remained steady. He waited. And in that quiet, tense moment, the first step toward something impossible had been taken. Sina stayed still for a long moment, her green eyes fixed on Luke's steady hand. The other passengers and the station security watched with wide eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. The alien had bitten 3 humans already, leaving deep wounds that would take weeks to heal. But now she hesitated. She was confused. Every instinct in her body screamed danger, yet this human did not move, did not scream, did not pull away. Luke kept his hand out, palm open, showing her he meant no harm. His eyes stayed calm. His breathing stayed even. He had no weapon. He had no plan to fight. He only had patience and a belief that this small, frightened alien could be reached without violence. Sina's breathing slowed slightly, though her body remained tense. She shifted back, still crouched, still ready to strike if needed. Her long tail flicked behind her, swishing sharply. Luke noticed it, but he did not flinch. He did not move away. "Your name is Sina, right?" he asked quietly. His voice was soft, gentle. It carried no threat. "I know you are scared. I know you have been hurt. But you don't have to hurt anyone else. Can you try to trust me? Sina hissed again, a low, warning sound, but it was not as loud or sharp as before. She moved closer to him slowly, her head tilting slightly. Her instincts told her he was dangerous, but her curiosity made her pause. He was different from the others. No one had stood in front of her like this before. No one had allowed her to bite without reacting in pain or anger. Luke crouched slightly, keeping his hand steady. "It's okay," he said. "I know it hurts, I know it is hard, but I am not afraid, I am not here to fight, I am here to help." Sina studied him, her claws flexed and relaxed. Her teeth still glinted, but she did not lunge. The warning hiss came again, softer this time, almost like a question. She sniffed the air around him, trying to sense danger. "Good," Luke said softly. "You are not attacking me. That is a good start. Can you try to relax a little?" The alien shifted slightly, unsure. Her muscles were tight like coiled springs, ready to snap. But she did not strike. She did not run. She only stared at him, green eyes wide, searching for something she could not name. Outside the shuttle, the security officers whispered among themselves. "He can't stay there forever," one said quietly. "That thing will bite him eventually. He has no idea what he's doing." "I don't think so," another whispered. "Look at her, she's confused. That's not normal. Most humans would scream or pull back, but he's calm. She doesn't know what to do with that." Luke did not hear their words. He focused only on Sina. He understood fear. He had seen it in injured humans before, in patients who could barely move or breathe because their panic was stronger than their bodies. He had learned that patience and calm could reach even the most frightened beings. Perhaps the same could work on Sina. Sina moved closer again, slowly, her head lowering slightly. Luke held his hand steady. "It's okay," he said. "I won't hurt you. You don't have to hurt anyone else either." The alien's tail twitched nervously, but she did not strike. She lowered her body slightly, her claws brushing the metal floor. She sniffed his hand again. Her teeth clicked softly, almost as if she were testing him. Luke smiled faintly. "See, you can do this," he said. "You can be calm, you don't have to be scared all the time." For the first time, Sina seemed to hesitate. Her green eyes softened a little, her muscles relaxed just enough for Luke to notice. He kept his hand open, steady, calm. He did not try to grab her or force her. He did not move too fast or too slow. He waited. The station crew outside gasped quietly. Nobody expected the alien to pause. Nobody expected the human to stay so calm. Even the officers who had trained for years to handle dangerous creatures were shocked. This was not like anything they had seen. Sina hissed softly, then leaned forward slightly. She touched his hand with her teeth again, gently this time. Luke did not pull back. He did not scream, he did not wince. He only held still, letting her test him. She pulled back slowly, confused. Her instincts screamed at her to attack, to bite harder, to defend herself. But the calm human before her did not flinch. He did not act scared. He did not act angry. She did not understand it. Luke spoke softly. "It's okay. You can trust me. I won't hurt you. I want to help." Sina stayed still, her head tilted, her sharp ears twitching. Her body was still tense, but her breathing was slower. Her eyes flicked to the metal walls, the glass windows, the security officers outside. She saw their weapons, their panic, their fear. Then she looked back at Luke. He was calm. He was steady. He was different. Slowly, she took another step closer. Her claws scraped the floor, but she did not attack. She sniffed the air again. She lowered her body slightly, crouching near him but not touching him. Her green eyes studied him, searching for any sign of weakness. Luke smiled faintly. "Good. You are doing well," he said quietly. "See, you don't have to fight, you don't have to be scared, you can be calm, you can trust me." Sina tilted her head, unsure. Her teeth clicked softly. She moved a little closer. She sniffed his hand again. Then with a sudden motion, she lightly bit down on his wrist. It was not hard. It was gentle, almost like a test. Luke did not flinch. He did not pull back. He only looked at her, calm, steady. "Good," he said softly. "See, you can do this. You are not alone. You don't have to be scared." The officers outside whispered in disbelief. "How is he not screaming? How is he not moving? That thing should have torn his arm off." "He's different," another whispered. "He's human." Sina pulled back again, confused. Her instincts told her to attack, to defend, to bite harder. But the human did nothing. He only stayed calm. He only stayed steady. His calmness was almost like a shield she could not break. Luke spoke softly again. "You see, I am not your enemy. You don't have to fight me. You don't have to hurt anyone else. You can trust me." For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. The tension in the shuttle was thick, almost unbearable. Sina's claws flexed and relaxed. Her teeth clicked softly, her breathing slowed. She moved closer again, her green eyes fixed on him. Luke held his hand out steadily. "Good," he said quietly. "You are doing well, you are calm, you are not afraid, that is good." Sina paused, unsure. Her instincts screamed danger, but her curiosity kept her still. She did not attack, she did not run, she simply stared at him, trying to understand. Slowly, she moved closer again. Her teeth brushed his hand gently. Luke did not flinch, he did not scream, he only stayed calm, he only stayed steady. Outside the shuttle, the security officers whispered in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this," one said quietly. "He's human, he's not afraid, and she's not attacking him." Luke spoke softly again. "Good, you are calm, you are not afraid, you can trust me." Sina's breathing slowed further, her claws flexed and relaxed. Her body was still tense, but her movements were slower, gentler. She was not attacking, she was not running. She was studying him, learning him, trying to understand. Finally, she lowered her body fully, crouching near him but not touching him. Her green eyes stayed on him, alert but calm. Her teeth clicked softly. Luke smiled faintly. "Good, you are doing well," he said softly. "See, you can trust me, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to hurt anyone." The shuttle's cameras recorded everything. The station watched in disbelief. A human had faced a dangerous, frightened alien without fear. The alien had tested him, bitten him gently, and yet he had not reacted. He had stayed calm, steady, patient. And for the first time since her capture, Sina felt something she could not name. She felt confusion. She felt curiosity. She felt something like trust. Luke stayed still, hand out, calm, steady. He did not move too fast or too slow. He did not force her or scare her. He waited. And in that quiet, tense moment, something remarkable happened. Sina's body relaxed slightly. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her breathing slowed. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stared at him, trying to understand this strange human who did not react like any other creature she had known. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are safe. You don't have to be afraid. You are not alone." For the first time in a long time, Sina felt calm. Not completely safe, not completely at ease, but calm enough to breathe. And that was the beginning. Sina stayed crouched in the corner of the shuttle, her green eyes never leaving Luke. For the first time since arriving at the station, she was quiet. Her claws flexed and relaxed, her tail flicked softly, and her breathing was slower, almost even. She had tasted his hand, tested his patience, and yet the human had not reacted with fear or anger. Luke stayed still, his hand extended, palm open. He spoke softly, keeping his voice calm. "It's okay, you are safe, you don't have to fight or run, I am not your enemy." Sina tilted her head. She had never heard a human speak like this. Most humans screamed, ran, or grabbed weapons. They always reacted with fear or anger. But this human, he was calm. His eyes did not show fear, his voice did not shake. His hand stayed steady. That confused her instincts. Slowly, she moved a little closer, her claws barely touching the floor. Luke did not move back. He let her come to him at her own pace. "Good," he said quietly. "You are being careful, that is good." Sina sniffed his hand again. She did not bite this time. She only touched it lightly with her teeth, testing him. Luke did not flinch. He did not pull back, he simply stayed calm. Her green eyes watched him carefully. She could feel the tension in his body, but it was not the tension of fear. It was different, steady, controlled. Almost like he had thought about everything before moving, but without panic. "Most creatures," Luke said softly, "attack when they are afraid, or they run, but you don't have to, you can be calm, you can choose not to hurt anyone." Sina tilted her head again. She did not understand his words completely, but she could sense the meaning behind them. His calmness was like a shield she could not break. She could not make him flinch, and that confused her. For a long time, they simply stared at each other. The shuttle felt quiet, even though the engines hummed softly. Outside the glass, the security officers whispered among themselves. "How is he still calm?" one said quietly. "That thing should have bitten him or thrown him across the room." "I think she's confused," another whispered. "She doesn't know how to react to him. He's different." Luke did not hear them. He focused only on Sina. He knew that fear and aggression often came from misunderstanding. Most creatures attacked humans because they assumed humans would attack first. But he had learned that sometimes, showing calmness, patience, and trust could change even the most violent situation. Sina shifted slightly, her claws scraping the metal floor. Her tail flicked nervously. She sniffed the air around him, trying to sense danger. She had never met a human like this before. None of the others had stayed calm when she bit them. None had let her test them without reacting in pain or fear. Luke smiled faintly. Good. You are being careful. You don't have to attack me. You can trust me. The alien's green eyes softened just a little. She flexed her claws slowly, letting them relax a bit. Her teeth glinted in the dim light, but she did not move forward aggressively. She was curious. She was cautious, but she did not attack. You see, Luke said quietly, I am not here to hurt you. I am not afraid. I only want to help. Can you try to trust me a little? Sina paused. Her instincts screamed that she should strike, that she should defend herself. But her curiosity was stronger. She had never met a human who stayed calm like this. She had never met a human who did not react with fear. She wanted to understand him. Slowly, she moved closer again, her head lowering slightly. Luke stayed still. He did not flinch. He did not pull back, he simply waited. Sina touched his hand lightly with her teeth. It was not a bite this time, just a touch. Luke did not move. He only looked at her, calm and steady. Outside the shuttle, whispers spread. He's not reacting, one officer said quietly. She's not attacking him. The moment stretched. The tension in the shuttle was thick. Every movement, every breath, every flick of a tail seemed louder than it should be, but Luke stayed calm. His hand remained open. His voice remained soft. Sina's breathing slowed further. She lowered her body a little, crouching but not aggressively. She flexed her claws. She watched him. She tested him with small touches, small movements. Luke did not flinch. He did not react. Finally, she made a small sound, almost like a sigh. Luke's eyes softened. Good, he said quietly. You are calm. You are not attacking. That is good. Sina tilted her head, unsure. Her instincts screamed danger, but her curiosity kept her still. She did not attack. She did not run. She only watched. Luke spoke softly again. You are not alone. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to hurt anyone. You can trust me. The alien's body relaxed a little more. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her tail stopped flicking so sharply. Her breathing became even. She crouched closer to him, still cautious but no longer aggressive. For the first time in a long time, Sina felt something she could not name. She felt confusion. She felt curiosity. She felt calm. Luke smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are doing well. You can trust me. Sina stayed crouched, her green eyes fixed on him. She did not move aggressively. She did not attack. She simply watched him, studying him, learning him, trying to understand this human who did not react like any other creature she had known. Outside the shuttle, the whispers grew. I've never seen anything like this, one officer said quietly. He's human, he's not afraid, and she's not attacking him. Luke spoke softly again. See, you can be calm, you don't have to fight, you don't have to be afraid. You can trust me. Sina's breathing slowed further, her claws flexed and relaxed. Her body was still tense, but her movements were slower, gentler. She was not attacking, she was not running. She was studying him, learning him, trying to understand. For a long time, they simply stared at each other. The tension in the shuttle was thick, almost unbearable, but Luke stayed calm. He did not move too fast or too slow. He did not force her. He waited. Finally, Sina made a small movement. She reached out her hand slowly, cautiously, and touched his hand. Luke did not pull back. He smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are being careful. You are calm. That is very good. The alien stayed still for a long moment. Her green eyes watched him carefully. She flexed her claws and relaxed them again. She sniffed the air. She did not attack. She did not run. She only watched. Luke spoke softly. You are safe. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to hurt anyone. You can trust me. Sina tilted her head, unsure. Her instincts screamed danger, but her curiosity kept her still. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply watched him, studying him, learning him. The shuttle grew quiet. The only sounds were Sina's breathing, soft and even, and the hum of the engines. The other passengers and security officers watched through the glass, amazed. A human had faced a dangerous, frightened alien without fear, and the alien had stopped attacking. Luke stayed still, hand out, calm, steady. He did not move too fast or too slow. He did not force her or scare her. He waited. And in that quiet, tense moment, something remarkable happened. Sina's body relaxed fully. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her breathing slowed. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stared at him, trying to understand this human who did not react like any other creature she had known. Luke smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are calm. You are not afraid. You can trust me. You are safe. For the first time since arriving at the station, Sina felt calm. Not completely safe, not completely at ease, but calm enough to breathe. And that was the beginning. The station cameras captured every moment, every movement, every flick of a tail, every careful breath. People across the station whispered in disbelief. Humans had always been underestimated. They were not the fastest. They were not the strongest. They were not the fiercest. But they had patience, endurance, and calm in ways no other species could match. Sina's green eyes stayed on him. Her claws were relaxed. Her breathing was even. Her body was still tense, but she did not attack. She did not run. She only watched, trying to understand the strange human before her. Luke stayed calm. He stayed steady. He stayed patient. He waited, and in that quiet, tense shuttle, the first true connection between human and alien began. Sina's green eyes followed Luke's every move. For the first time since being captured, she felt something she had never felt before, a strange sense of calm. Her body was still tense, but the sharp edges of fear and anger had softened. She did not fully understand this feeling, but it made her curious. She wanted to study it, to learn it. Luke stayed crouched, his hands steady, his eyes gentle. He had not moved from that position for a long time, letting Sina observe him, letting her feel that he was not a threat. His calmness was like a shield, and slowly it seemed to affect her instincts. "You see," he said softly, "you don't have to hurt anyone. You can choose another way, you can be calm, you can trust me." Sina tilted her head. She had not heard words like this before. Most humans screamed at her or ran from her. Most humans had weapons and shouted. But this human, he was quiet, he was steady. His voice was soft, almost like a lullaby, and that confused her instincts. Slowly, she reached out her hand again, cautiously, and touched his palm. Luke did not pull back. He smiled faintly. "Good," he said. "That's very good. You are learning." Outside the shuttle, the security officers whispered in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this," one said. "He's not afraid, and she's not attacking." "She's confused," another said. "That's why she's not biting him. He's different." Inside the shuttle, Luke continued to speak softly, carefully. "You don't have to fight to survive," he said. "You can survive by being smart, by being calm, by choosing carefully. You can be strong in a way no one expects." Sina flexed her claws slowly. Her tail flicked gently behind her. Her teeth clicked softly, but she did not move aggressively. She sniffed the air again, curious about the human. He smelled different from the others, not like a threat, not like a predator. He smelled calm, safe. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said. "You are learning to control your fear. That is a very human thing. We survive not because we are the strongest, but because we can control our instincts, our anger, and our fear. You can learn this too." Sina's body relaxed a little more. She crouched closer, but not aggressively. She flexed her claws and let them relax. Her breathing became steady, almost even. She studied Luke, trying to understand him. For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was soft, unsure, almost a whisper. "Why are you not afraid?" Luke smiled faintly. "Because I know that fear does not help. Fear makes creatures attack or run. It makes them make mistakes. I stay calm so I can see clearly, so I can help, so I can understand." Sina tilted her head. She did not fully understand his words, but she could feel their meaning. He was not like the others. He did not act like any human she had ever met. He was calm, steady, and patient, and that made her pause. Slowly, she moved closer again, testing him. She brushed her teeth against his hand lightly. Luke did not pull back. He did not flinch. He only stayed calm. "Good," he said softly. "You are learning to be careful. You are learning that you don't have to attack. That is very good." Sina flexed her claws again. Her tail flicked softly. She studied him. She sniffed the air. She did not bite. She did not run. She only watched. Luke spoke quietly. "You can survive without fighting. You can protect yourself without attacking. You can be calm when others are scared. That is a strength no one expects. That is a human strength." Sina tilted her head again. She tried to understand. She had never seen a creature act like this. Most creatures reacted with fear or anger, but he did none of these things. He stayed calm, steady, patient. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. The tension in the shuttle was thick, but different now. It was no longer full of fear and panic. Now it was full of curiosity, study, and a strange trust. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm. You are not afraid. That is very good." Sina's breathing became slower. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her body shifted slightly, crouching closer, but not aggressively. She studied him, learning him, trying to understand. Luke continued softly, "You can survive by being careful. You can survive by thinking. You can survive by being patient. You don't have to hurt others. You can protect yourself without attacking. That is very strong. That is what makes humans different. Sina flexed her claws again. She tilted her head. She moved closer, brushing her teeth against his hand lightly. Luke did not pull back. He did not react. He only stayed calm. Outside the shuttle, whispers spread through the station. "I've never seen anything like this," one officer said quietly. "He's not afraid." "And she's calm. She's learning from him," another whispered. "Humans are different." Inside the shuttle, Luke spoke softly. "You can learn to be calm. You can learn to control your fear. You can survive without attacking. That is a strength no one expects." "That is human strength. You can be strong like that, too." Sina's breathing slowed even more. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her body shifted closer. She stayed crouched, studying him, learning him. She did not attack. She did not run. She only watched. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm. You are learning. You can trust me." For the first time, Sina felt something new. She felt curiosity. She felt calm. She felt trust. She did not fully understand it, but she knew it was different from fear, different from anger. Different from the panic she had felt before. Sina's claws flexed and relaxed. Her tail flicked softly. She studied him. She sniffed his hand again. She did not bite. She did not attack. She only observed, learning from this strange human. Luke spoke softly again. "See. You can survive without fighting. You can protect yourself without attacking. You can stay calm when others are afraid. That is strength no one expects. That is human strength, and it can help you too." Sina tilted her head. She tried to understand. She had never met a human like this. Most humans screamed or ran. Most humans carried weapons and shouted. But he did none of these things. He stayed calm, steady, patient. Slowly, she reached out her hand and touched his palm again. Luke did not pull back. He did not flinch. He only smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are learning. You are calm. That is very good." The shuttle grew quieter. The hum of the engines was the only sound. Outside, the security officers whispered in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this," one said quietly. "He's human, he's not afraid, and she's calm." Sina stayed crouched, her green eyes fixed on him. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her tail flicked gently. Her breathing was even. She did not attack. She did not run. She only watched, learning from him. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm, you are learning, you can trust me, you are safe." And for the first time since being captured, Sina felt calm. Not completely safe, not fully at ease, but calm enough to breathe. Calm enough to think, calm enough to trust. Luke stayed still, hand extended, calm, steady. He did not rush her. He did not scare her. He did not force her. He waited. And in that quiet shuttle, something remarkable happened. The dangerous, frightened alien began to change. She began to see that humans were different. That they could survive without attacking. That they could protect themselves without fear. That they could face danger with patience, calm, and steady trust. Sina's green eyes stayed on him. Her claws relaxed. Her tail swished gently. She breathed steadily. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply watched, learning, studying, and understanding. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are safe. You are calm. You can trust me. That is very good." And in that shuttle far from the crowded station, a fragile trust began to grow. A trust that could change everything. Sina crouched in the corner of the shuttle, her green eyes fixed on Luke. She had learned something new in the past hours, something she could not have imagined. Humans were not just strong in body. They were strong in patience, in calmness, in the way they could face fear without letting it control them. She had tested him, bitten him, threatened him, and yet he had remained steady. He had not flinched, had not pulled back, had not reacted with anger or panic. Luke stayed calm, his hand still extended, his eyes gentle. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm, you are learning, you can trust me." Sina flexed her claws slowly, still cautious, still alert, but no longer aggressive. Her breathing was even. Her tail flicked gently behind her. For the first time since being captured, she felt a strange sense of safety. She did not fully understand it, but she trusted him at least a little. Outside the shuttle, the station watched in disbelief. Officers whispered among themselves, amazed by what they were seeing. "I've never seen anything like this," one said quietly. "He's not afraid." "And she's calm. She's learning from him," another said. "Humans are different. They survive in ways no other species can." Inside the shuttle, Luke continued to speak softly. "You don't have to fight to survive," he said. "You can protect yourself without hurting anyone else. You can face fear and still be calm. That is strength. That is human strength, and it can help you too." Cena tilted her head. She flexed her claws, moved closer, and sniffed the air around him. She did not bite. She did not attack. She simply observed, learning from him, trying to understand this strange human who did not react like any other creature she had known. Luke smiled faintly. Good. You are learning. You are calm. You are not afraid. That is very good. The alien remained crouched, still cautious, still alert, but no longer threatening. For the first time, she thought about her actions. She had bitten 3 humans earlier. She had wanted to defend herself, to fight, to survive. But now, seeing Luke's calmness, she realized that there might be another way to survive, another way to face danger. Luke spoke softly. You can survive without hurting anyone. You can protect yourself without attacking. You can choose calm over fear. That is a choice no other species expects. That is what makes humans different. Cena's green eyes softened. She moved closer, brushing her hand lightly against his. Luke did not pull back. He smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are learning. You are calm. That is very good. Outside the shuttle, whispers spread across the station. I've never seen anything like this, one officer said quietly. Humans are strange. They are not afraid, and she is calm. She's learning from him, another whispered. He is showing her something no one else could. Inside the shuttle, Luke spoke softly again. You are safe. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to attack. You can trust me. Cena flexed her claws slowly. She did not run. She did not bite. She did not attack. She stayed crouched, studying him, learning from him, trying to understand. Luke smiled faintly. Good, you are calm. You are learning. You can trust me. You are safe. For the first time, Cena allowed herself to relax fully. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her tail swished gently. Her breathing was steady. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stayed close, observing him, learning, understanding. Luke spoke softly. You see, you can survive without fighting. You can protect yourself without attacking. You can stay calm when others are afraid. That is a strength no one expects. That is human strength, and it can help you too. Cena's green eyes stayed on him. She flexed her claws, tilted her head, and moved even closer. She touched his hand lightly again. Luke did not pull back. He did not flinch. He only smiled faintly. Outside the shuttle, the whispers grew. He's human, he's not afraid, and she's calm, one officer said quietly. She's learning from him, another whispered. This is incredible. Inside the shuttle, Luke spoke softly again. Good, you are calm. You are learning, you are not afraid. That is very good. You can trust me, you are safe. Cena crouched closer, studying him carefully. Her green eyes followed every movement. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her tail swished gently. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stayed close, learning from him, trusting him. Luke smiled faintly. You are learning quickly, he said softly. You can survive without hurting anyone. You can face danger without fear. You can protect yourself without attacking. That is human strength. And it can help you. Cena tilted her head. She flexed her claws slowly. She moved closer again, brushing her hand against his. Luke did not pull back. He smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are calm. You are learning. You can trust me. The station watched in disbelief. The cameras recorded every movement. Humans were being seen in a new light. They were not just fighters. They were not just survivors. They were teachers, healers, calm in ways no other species could understand. Cena stayed crouched, her green eyes fixed on him. Her claws relaxed. Her tail swished gently. She breathed steadily. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply observed, learning, studying, and understanding. Luke spoke softly again. Good, you are calm, you are learning, you are safe. You can trust me. That is very good. Cena's breathing slowed. Her claws flexed and relaxed. Her body was no longer tense. She crouched closer, watching him, learning from him, understanding. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel something new. Trust, calm, curiosity. She did not fully understand it, but she knew it was different from fear, different from anger, different from panic. Luke smiled faintly. Good, he said softly. You are calm, you are learning, you can survive without attacking, you can protect yourself without fear. That is very strong, that is human strength, and it can help you. Cena's green eyes stayed on him, her claws flexed and relaxed, her tail swished gently, she breathed steadily. She did not attack, she did not run, she simply watched, learning, understanding. Outside the shuttle, whispers spread through the station. I've never seen anything like this, one officer said quietly. He's human, he's not afraid, and she's calm. She's learning from him, another whispered. Humans are different. They survive in ways no other species can. Inside the shuttle, Luke spoke softly again. Good, you are calm, you are learning, you can trust me, you are safe. Sina crouched even closer, her green eyes fixed on him. She flexed her claws slowly, her tail flicked gently. Her breathing was even. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stayed close, observing him, learning from him, understanding. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm, you are learning, you can survive without hurting anyone. You can face danger without fear. That is human strength, and it can help you too." Sina tilted her head. She studied him carefully. She flexed her claws slowly. She moved closer, brushing her hand lightly against his. Luke did not pull back. He smiled faintly. The shuttle was quiet now. Only the hum of the engines remained. Outside, the station whispered in disbelief. Humans were being seen in a new light. They were calm. They were patient. They could survive without fighting. They could face danger with steady trust. Sina crouched closer. Her green eyes stayed on him, her claws relaxed. Her tail swished gently. She breathed evenly. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply stayed close, learning, understanding, and trusting. Luke spoke softly again. "Good, you are calm. You are learning, you are safe. You can trust me. That is very good." And for the first time since her capture, Sina allowed herself to feel something she had never felt before. Calm, trust, curiosity, a strange hope that she could survive without fear. Luke stayed still, hand extended, calm, steady. He did not rush her. He did not scare her. He did not force her. He waited. And in that quiet shuttle far from the crowded station, something remarkable happened. A dangerous, frightened alien had learned to trust a human. She had learned to be calm. She had learned that fear was not the only path. And in that moment, the first step toward understanding, connection, and peace between species was taken. Sina's green eyes stayed on him. Her claws relaxed. Her tail swished gently. She breathed steadily. She did not attack. She did not run. She simply watched, learning, studying, and understanding. Luke smiled faintly. "Good," he said softly. "You are calm. You are learning. You can survive without attacking. You can protect yourself without fear. That is very strong. That is human strength, and it can help you." And in that shuttle, the galaxy began to notice something new. Humans were not just survivors. They were not just fighters. They were beings who could face danger, fear, and violence without flinching. They could teach calm, patience, and trust, and that made them different. Sina stayed close to him, her green eyes watching, learning, trusting. And Luke Carter, simple human medic, smiled faintly, knowing that sometimes the greatest power a human could show was calmness, patience, and a steady hand.